better enjoy it while it lasts. Welcome to the final Pixar original movie until at least the next decade.
They're setting up for tonight. The music competition for Dia de Muertos. You want to be like your hero? You should sign up.
My family would freak.
Look, if you're too scared, then, well, have fun making shoes. Come on, what did De La Cruz always say?
Seize your moment?
Show me what you got, muchacho. I'll be your first audience.
Coco is the latest Pixar original film to come out in theaters about a young man named Miguel in Mexico and how he deals with events that happened surrounding the Day of the Dead. Yes, my Pixar biases are on full display behind me. How's that going to influence what I have to say? Well, let's find out. 5 things you might want to know about Coco. Oh, I loved this movie so much. Not that that's a surprise when it comes to Pixar. I really feel like the Pixar's best days are behind them narrative is an easy narrative that isn't quite true, especially when they make original films with Inside Out and now this. I think they're still firing on all cylinders. Let's talk about why this is so great. Starting with number 1, the Pixar Basics. You've got the amazing animation that they're always going to do right. You've got the amazing character development that they're always going to have a handle on. You've got the amazing sound design and editing and storytelling. Just all that stuff you know about Pixar right from the get-go has not disappeared. They care about their work, and you can see it in everything that they're doing. So what puts this one among the best of the Pixar offerings? I think for me, it's the feels. Get some tissues, be ready, because the feels are on their way. And a lot of that has to do so much with their ability to maintain a theme within a movie that is woven throughout every ounce of how the story is told. They take you exactly where they want you, and in this case, they hold you there. There's this moment towards the end of the movie that everything has been building to, and it just holds you in that moment in such a beautiful and powerful way that you cannot help but to experience the emotions that the characters are experiencing in this movie. It is amazing to watch. It is transcendent filmmaking. They're so good at it, and it's no different here. I think what I love about it most of all is they are so unabashedly unafraid of sentimentality. They don't mind going for the emotion. They don't feel it's cheesy because it's not. The way they play it is not cheesy. They don't feel that it's overly syrupy or sappy because it's not. It's just human. And they have such a great way of playing into that. It's almost this optimism of filmmaking, right? That you can play to the better part of who we are, that you can play to our emotions, and that we can still buy into it as authentic. Another specific positive that I wanted to bring out here is the supreme Mexicanness of this movie. I love how Pixar has across the board made this a Mexican story. In fact, it's been out in Mexico a while before it released here and just became the highest money-making movie in history of Mexico. And I think that's because it pays such honor and homage to that culture. You can feel it in the casting. You can feel it in the design of what's going on here, in the music of what's going on here, in the cultural traditions that they're bringing to the forefront, ones that an American audience isn't necessarily going to be completely familiar with, but they do it in such an honoring way that you start to understand that culture in a deeper way. That's great filmmaking, right? When you can tell an amazing story and also honor a cultural heritage in a way that is both educational and entertaining. I also have to bring special attention to the lead performer in this who plays Miguel. His name is Anthony Gonzalez, and here's the thing. He was just supposed to do the voice for the scratch track, for the storyboards, just so they could get an idea of how these lines sounded within the action and story of the movie. And yet he did such a good job and fit the character so well. They were like, hey, why don't you do it? And man, is he good. And that's the thing I love about Pixar. They are not afraid to cast for the character and not for the poster value. They're always looking for the voice that fits the character the best. And in this case, it was some kid who didn't have any credits on anything, but is now the star of a Pixar film. I love that. I love that Pixar does that, and I love the performance that came out of it. It's nuanced, it's beautiful. He's so good at what he's doing here. All around, it was just a great decision. I think it serves the movie very well. Yeah, this movie owned me. Again, it's Pixar. They've got my number. I haven't even talked about the humor, which was great, the side characters, which were great. There's so much else great, but let's get to the one thing that might be a negative. We'll give it a yellow because honestly, it didn't bother me at all. I think it's a little predictable in one of the major plot developments. So much so that right from the beginning, I think you kind of understand where that's going. But you know what? I don't feel like they are hiding it in a way to be a big surprise for the audience. I think they are telling the story in the way where that information is used the best. I never felt like I was ahead of the movie in the way that distracted me. I felt like I understood the story that was being told to me and how valuable it was because of those information reveals. So yes, you might predict some things that are going to happen, but I don't think it impacts the movie really all that much. Overall, I loved Coco. It's so good. It's great to see Pixar making great material. It's great to see them do an original movie, and I'm kind of sad that there won't be one for a while. I mean, they do find sequels too. I just love their original stuff. Overall, even with a little bit of predictability, that's not enough for me to bring it down to less than an A. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. I almost went with an A+ on this, just so we're clear, but I wanted to give it some time and space to resonate, and I think A is probably right. We'll get to the best ever challenge after we talk a little bit about how to connect further. If you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's Aaron Dicer, AARONDICER, so we can hang out there. We can also hang out at the podcast. It's SiftPop, SiftPop. We get together every week, talk about pop culture, so you can subscribe to that wherever you do your podcast thing. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube, leave comments, all that fun stuff. Enjoy the hang time with you guys here on YouTube. And of course, thanks for your support at Patreon. Patreon.com/yourmoviefriend. Starts at $3 a month. There's some fun perks there you might want to check out. And thank you so much to those who do support. It means the world to me. All right, on to the best ever challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Let's go with the best movie ever with repeating syllables. Now, that can be expansive. It doesn't just only have to be repeating syllables like Coco. There can be other words in the title. Maybe those syllables don't even have to necessarily be right next to each other. Be creative. Find repeating syllables in a title and of a movie you like and let me know about it. For mine, I'm going to go with the movie that has the world's best traffic jam, in my opinion. Take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. As always, here's a few extra seconds to hit subscribe. Just click my face.